Hello everyone, and welcome to this very interesting video. And it's quite a very timely time, in a weird way to put it, because it's actually about to hit 1 year of weekly race guides. Yes, in fact, this is like a weird anniversary to some extent. Our first one was on the 4th of May 2020. It's now the 1st of May 2021. And I've actually gone through all of them, and it's been nice to see where they've come from and got to. And I'm going to continue to try and improve them where I can. However, I've went on about the weekly race guides here. What we want to have a look at is the data and detail behind the weekly races themselves. So, what tracks have been used in that 1 year? What tracks haven't as well, because I know there's lots of complaints that some tracks are never used. What categories do we use the most? What do we not use, I suppose? Because you can decipher that from that information. And what is the most frequent combo we use, or do, or participate in, should I say, in the weekly races? Is there a combo there that is just constantly there, or you feel is always there? Well, we're about to find out. Because I say, it's the anniversary, so technically there's 52 weeks there. Let's have a look at what is frequently used and what isn't here for the weekly race guides. First off then, let's have a look at the most frequent tracks. So which tracks do we visit the most in these weekly race guides, okay? Now what I've done is I've picked any circuit, because obviously I've got to be careful here. I could obviously go down to use once and go up, but that would be loads and the video would be at 3 hours long. I have picked any track that has been picked 6 or more times. So technically, these tracks will have been used at least every other month for the weekly race guides. So obviously we've had 12 months. They've been used at least 6 times. So first off, picked 6 times, and this is a surprise actually, is Spa, Monza, Lego Maggiore GP, and Dragon Trail Seaside. Now I thought Dragon Trail Seaside would be higher, to be honest with you, but those circuits have been picked 6 times. We'll up it to 7 now. So 7 times, Autopolis and Tsukuba. Now, when I say Autopolis, I mean the full circuit as well, not the short circuit. Let's jump to 8 times, where we hit Fuji and Suzuka. That's at least 75% of the year we will experience Fuji or Suzuka in that month, which is, yeah, kind of crazy, I suppose, when I think about it. And then 9 times. Yes, we have some circuits we've picked 9 times in the year. That is Red Bull Ring and Laguna Seca. Yes, they are picked the most. We know about Red Bull Ring. It's obviously picked the most because it's where there's the most slipstream and probably the most action. Laguna's an interesting one. I was surprised with Laguna, if I'm honest. But even so, 9 times. And sorry, they are the 75%, not the Fuji and Suzuka. They're 66%. But even so, that's still a lot of times. Now, as I say, 17% of the time they will pick those tracks in 52 weeks. So 17% of the time, more than likely, you could put a good bet on it's going to be Red Bull or Laguna, and maybe it's alternative. I've not actually looked at that detail. But now, what about the tracks that haven't been used? So again, when I was doing this, I was stunned by this. So, tracks we haven't used: Lego Maggiore Center 1 and 2. East 2, West 2. And then we head to Blue Moon Bay Speedway. And I've also taken out ovals and dirt tracks here, just to, keep it nice and easy. So the oval isn't in there, of course. But we haven't been to Infield A2, Infield B1, or Infield B2. We've not even been to Infield B the entire year. What's going on? It gets worse than this, folks. It gets worse. We head to St. Croissant, as I call it. St. Croix. And we've not been to A2, B, B2, or C. If you remember, we did go to C2, and weirdly, that happened a couple of weeks after my video about the FIA tracks, and C2 never being used, which is very bizarre, but we've not been to any of the other St. Croissant tracks here in Gran Turismo for the daily races. Let's head to Kyoto then, where we've not been on Yamagiwa plus Miyabi, or Yamagiwa plus Miyabi 2, or Yamagiwa 2, in fact, the shorter version. We've not been on any of those. We then head to the Red Bull Ring. Believe it or not, we have not used the short track, which I am stunned at. I really am stunned at. We then go to Sardinia, and this one, again, mind-blowing, because we have not been to Sardinia B or B2. which is a good track. Why haven't we used this track? It's a really good track, especially in reverse, actually. I think that'd be quite a good daily race, to be honest with you. It's quite a technical track, but even so, we've not been there. And then we head to, of course, Willow Springs, which these ones we kind of get, to be honest, that they've never been used. So Horse Thief Mile 2, and Streets of Willow Springs 2. Now, obviously, Horse Thief Mile, I think it's Horse Thief Mile, the one where there's constant cuts and issues. Might be Streets, actually. One of them, anyway, always has cut issues. So I can completely understand that we don't go there that too often. But some of those circuits, I am confused at why we haven't used them. I am really, really, really confused because some of them, especially the St. Croix ones, would give some absolutely stonkingly good races. So, we've looked at the tracks. Let's have a look at the category of cars, should we say, that have been used the most then for the daily races. So, for these cars then and the categories, I've picked the top 10, which is technically 11 because there's a tie for 10th. But even so, I've picked these out. And again, some of these are going to be very obvious. Some of them I was surprised at when I was working on this, to be honest. So, in the last year, in the bottom, we'll go from smallest amount to the biggest amount. So, technically 10th or joint 9th, should I say, because there's 3 of them there. The Mazda MX-5 touring cars, Super Formula, and the GT86/BRZ. I've included them together there, really. So we've used them 3 times each for those. I'm surprised with the MX-5 touring cars because they actually do give some good racing, to be fair. Normally when they're in daily race, or weekly race, should we say, there's still need some good racing and you can have some good fun there. So I'm surprised. Anyway, cars that have been picked 4 times. 4 times here. The Zeds. So obviously when we get them, we get the Fuguzi, the 350, and the old Fair Lady, the twin turbo. And also the Renault Clio V6. That's been picked 4 times, which is a surprise to me. That was one of the surprises. Because it doesn't feel like it's been picked 4 times. But it has. But there we go. We then go to being picked 5 times now. The Porsches, and this is obviously the GT3 versus the Carrera RS that we normally have, the old school one, the one that's stupidly oversteery, and then the stable one. So we know they've been picked quite often, to be honest, and generally that they are quite argy-bargy. Now, picked 6 times, the Group 4 FF cars. So this is when they just specifically focus on the FF cars, and they're the only cars you can select. They've been picked 6 times. Obviously, the numbers now are going to exponentially increase here, as we then go to being picked 7 times. Group 1. And this is where Group 1 as an overall is selected. I'm not including Group C. They were picked only twice, where they were specific to those. Group 1 has been picked 7 times. We then go to Group 2, which has been picked 11 times. 11 times. So that's literally nearly once a month you are guaranteed to have a Group 2 race in the Gran Turismo weekly races. Now, in second place, being picked 33 times. 33! Wow. Obviously a massive difference here. The Group 4 cars. Group 4 has been picked 33 times here for the daily races or weekly races. Whatever you want to call them. I'm going to call them weekly races from now because it is weekly races. And the winner, of course, is one that you probably all expect. The Group 3 category. 40 times it has been picked. 40, which means nearly every single week, bar 12, you've had a Group 3 race in there. And I suppose, is Group 3 the most popular type of racing? I mean, obviously it's my favourite, so I don't mind it too much. However, that is a lot. Especially when we do have a lot more cars in the game. And then when you look back, with the Renault Clios and the Zeds, they've been picked 4 times, Porsches 5. There are other cars in the game. Can we not try them out at least? I know there's some good ones in there. I remember is it the Daihatsu? The one with a funky race car, but we've tried that for our community championship. And, it'd be nice to race that maybe once in a week. But there we have it with the categories of racing that happens in Gran Turismo. Now, we get to the grand finale of it all. The combos. What is the most popular combo used by the Gran Turismo team for the weekly races? So for this, we're going to pick... I would have done the top 10, but if I pick 10th, there's 13 tracks that are tied for 10th. So, or combos, should I say. Combos, not tracks. So there'll be 13. So I'm just going to get rid of 10th, and we're going to start bang on 9th place. And weirdly, 9th place is actually a tie for 4th place. So this is actually quite close in numbers. And I think some of you may be surprised with how, not often they appear. Or you might say, well, how can this specific combo appear so often? Well, let's see then. So, 3 times used in the weekly race guides. We have Laguna Seca, Group 4. Lego Maggiore, forward, Group 3. Lego Maggiore, forward, Group 4. Red Bull Ring, Group 3. Red Bull Ring, Group 4. And Catalunya, Group 3. So they've all been used 3 times there. And then, obviously, we have the podium finishes here. These have been used 4 times. 4 times there. It's quite, obviously, with the 3-time usage, actually. Just looking at it again now, it's basically 2 tracks. 4 tracks total. Red Bull Ring and Lego Maggiore appeared twice. But anyway, let's go to the podium. I'm going away from this. The podium. The combos that have been used 4 times. There's no other combo been used more than 4 times. But you got to remember, 4 times in a year, this combo has been used. With all those tracks and cars that we have in the game, these are the most often used. We go to Bathurst. Mount Panorama. Group 3. Been used 4 times. Dragon Trail Seaside in Group 4. 4 times. 4 times. And finally, Autodromo di Interlagos. Group 3. 4 times. So there we have 2 Group 3 combos used 4 times there. Bathurst and Interlagos. And also 1 Group 4 combo, which is Dragon Trail Seaside. Interesting, I've got to say. Interesting. Now, I did expect the Seaside one. I did expect Seaside to be further up overall in all of this, which it wasn't. It just feels like it comes around far too often. But there we go. So that is obviously from the 4th of May last year to now, this very point in the year, 1st of May, 2021. We'll have to see if, they watch the video and suddenly some new tracks appear. It'd be kind of nice if it does, because then we know this at least works. But as I say, it was very bizarre last time when we mentioned St. Croix C2 had never been used, and literally is 1 or 2 weeks later, it was instantly in a daily race, a weekly race, sorry, and it wasn't used in the FIA, but at least it was used, because that was a track that was never used. But there we have it. So this has been a very interesting video to make. Obviously, I collected all the data. I would really love to, pick the brains of Kudos Prime potentially, or somebody about APIs and trying to get more data behind this, so I could go backwards in time and really, really pick out which combos have been used forever the most, and which combos are never used ever, and tracks, etc. It'd be really, really interesting to find out. But hey, that could be a future video, who knows. Do hope you enjoyed this video. As always, please do give it a like if you did like this video, and my logo's there if you want to subscribe as well, and a couple of videos if you do want to check out another video on the channel. But that's going to be it for me now, folks. I do hope you enjoy the rest of your week, weekend, day, whenever and wherever you are watching this. Au revoir and farewell.